In the module 1, we will be covering what is SAP HANA and why it is critical. And the next topic would be the shift from ECC to S4 HANA, why it is needed, and integration with the Fiori apps, and the key benefits of SAP S4 HANA, challenges and transformation journey of S4 HANA, and the short introduction about the SAP Signavio Process Transformation Suite and how Signavio supports S4 HANA transformation projects. Most of you, or almost everyone, is using SAP nowadays, but it is better to know first the history of SAP. SAP first introduced in 1972 as R1 or the Suite 1 project in 1973, and later they have developed ABAP in 1979 and with the release 2. The last release, most successful and the largest release, was introduced in 1992. We are known that with the R3. In 2004, they have also introduced SAP B1 or Business 1, which is UI-based SAP, not a transaction-based. Then later in 2005, they also introduced ERP EHP 7. After 2005, there are significant changes, and then they introduced SAP Business All-in-One. After the successful implementation of All-in-One, they have added few functionalities in 2009 in the EHP side, where they have integrated SRM, CRM, ERP, product lifecycle management, and supply chain management all in one, where they called that as a Business Suite 7. In 2011, they used HANA, specifically as HANA, but S4 HANA was later introduced in 2015. And since then, SAP continuously pushing every one of their customers to adopt the functionalities and the better features of S4 HANA who are not using S4 HANA as of now. Most widely used SAP system is the SAP ECC or R3, but majorly from R3 has moved to ECC, and they are trying to move to S4 HANA. At the result of Q3, almost 15% of the customer are still using S4 HANA, and 85% of customers are using either B1 or any other SAP ECC or R3 products. So this was a short introduction about the history of SAP, and SAP has decided the end of life of SAP ECC, and they will be ending the support by 2027. So that's why they have introduced SAP Signavio to accelerate the S4 HANA transformation. Who the customer wants to move to the S4 HANA, there is a integration of the SAP Signavio in the S4 Activate project management methodology to move from ECC to S4 HANA. It is applicable for the greenfield, clean core implementation, brownfield, as well as the bluefield implementation. We'll discuss those in detail in the next chapters. So why? The question is, why is SAP HANA?
Sorry, before you proceed, ECC and S4 HANA, do these acronyms mean anything?
Yeah, ECC is the older version. S4 HANA is the latest version. ECC Enterprise component of the SAP, which is an upgrade to R3. And after the ECC, the end of life of this particular software is 2027. That means you can still use the software after 2027, but SAP will not be providing the product support after 2027 to all ECC components.
Correct. But the HANA, HANA, does it stand for anything specific? And ECC, does it stand for anything specific?
Yes. Right. ECC is the current version of the SAP, which is widely used, and it is known for enterprise component. The mid one, I'm still skipping.
Yes, it's enterprise
that's fine.
central enterprise core component or central component.
Yeah. Yes.
Enterprise core
Central
component.
component. Central
Okay,
component.
enterprise
Yeah.
central component. And
Yeah.
HANA or ANA, HANA, and for ANA.
HANA is
What is
basically the acronym for high performance appliance introduced by the SAP. They have created a specific kind of database for their enterprise systems, and they are calling that as a high performance analytic appliance.
Okay, so it refers to the database.
Yeah.
ANA.
Yes.
Okay.
S4
cool.
is the suite 4.
Right. Okay, now got that.
Stands for suite 4. Suite 1 was released in 1972 as R1, then R2, and then R3. Release 3, they are again called as a Suite 1, Suite 2, Suite 3 as well. But from the S4 perspective, from the S4 start, they are not calling it as a R4, they are calling it as a S4. R1, R3 stand for release 1, release 2, release 3. But from the fourth release, they are calling it as a suite because they are not going to sell this as an individual product. Now they have clubbed all the modules under products in a one, which they are calling it as S4 HANA. It is a combination of ERP, CRM, product lifecycle management, and the supply chain management.
Okay, great. No, thank you for that.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. People used to call it as a enterprise core component, but the right abbreviation is the enterprise central component. So let's start with the basics. So SAP S4HANA first is what is S4HANA, which I have already told what is S4HANA, and it was the right question which was asked by one of our team members. So SAP is the next generation ERP suite. It is a successor to the ECC. But it is built on specifically on a HANA database. So the goal of S4HANA is just to simplify the complex business processes or to accelerate the performance of the process and bring real-time analytics to every level for an organization. This was the biggest challenge in ECC, where we are not having a real-time reporting analytics system. We have to use the other applications or any other add-on to get the real-time analytics. But in S4HANA, this problem will get resolved. And the shift is the major problem, the shift from ECC to S4HANA, because with traditional ERP systems, processes are often slow because the system had to fetch the data from multiple sources. But S4HANA brings all of the data into single memory, allowing for real-time access. So this will make it possible to respond faster to business events, whether it's supply chain or a customer service inquiry. So currently there are three kinds of deployment modules: cloud, on-premise, or hybrid. One of the key innovation in SAP HANA is its flexibility. Companies can deploy it in the public cloud, private cloud, or in the on-premise systems, like the option depending upon their need or the regulatory requirements. So the key features of SAP S4HANA is the real-time analytics reporting with the traditional ERP, generating financial reports or running performance matrices could take actually a lot of time, sometimes hours or sometimes even days, when we have to do reporting on a large data. But with the S4HANA, businesses can run these reports instantly, empowering decision makers to act immediately. You may have heard a lot of applications or process mining applications like Celonis or MyInvenio in the market, which are providing the real-time reporting as well as the action. Just to overcome that situation, because there are a lot of tools in the market, so SAP decided to purchase another tool called Signavio, and they acquired this tool in 2021, a BPM tool. And this particular tool helps us to get the real-time data analytics as well as the reporting in the form of the dashboards, as well as we can build the rule-based actions in the tool. We'll be discussing this part later in the meeting. So it will help businesses to run reports faster, instantly, so that business owners can take the actions immediately. So as well as it has a simplified architecture. Many companies generally struggle with outdated systems and redundant databases. But S/4HANA consolidates these into one platform, reducing the maintenance cost as well as the complexity for the IT. Again, the third is faster transaction with in-memory computing. Yeah, this is because S/4HANA stores data directly in memory. Processes that previously took hours, like financial reconciliation, can now be completed in several minutes of time. So generally in the ECC, when if we have to run the record to report or financial transactions for a month, it took a lot of time. But this problem can be overcome in the S/4HANA. And the good part is the scalability and the flexibility, where the organization is a startup or a multinational organization. S/4HANA can grow with the organization, whether they have to acquire further organization, it can be easily implemented in the other parts of the companies. And it meets the scaling with the increasing business needs. And the good part is the Fiori applications, which can be developed in a very short period of time. Now we have to understand why S/4HANA is critical. So you are already aware, SAP will gonna end the support for the ECC in 2027. So we won't be having any product support if we will face any kind of outage or a problem in our existing system. So this was the major problem. This will become a major problem after 2027. So that's why S/4HANA is critical. But apart from that, there are certain other factors because it provides real-time decision making. If you have the analytics available, you can take the decisions, or the business owners can take the decisions very quickly, which way they have to choose. Also, it's a digital transformation enabler. It will also enhance the productivity and efficiency. If you have the live insights of your processes, how they are performing, how they are behaving in the real world, you can identify the major pain problems or the pain areas, and then you can plan for the transformation or the process improvement. Also, the current cost of ECC is high, but in S4, the cost is based upon the usage. So again, you can optimize the cost in the S4. Also, it will gonna improve the customer experience as well as the better experience. And this is the next generation of technology, as well as already proven as a good kind of technology because of its ease. So it also find out as a future-proof technology. Or as they have added business process management tool with the S/4HANA called Signavio. So it also provide you the governance on all of your business processes.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features: bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
But there are certain challenges in the S4 transformation journey. First is the organizational readiness. When we generally perform the organizational readiness or the system readiness, this is one of the biggest problem when we are going to migrate to S4HANA. It is not just a technical project, but it requires organizational changes, and those changes has to be managed very efficiently. Employee needs to be onboarded with the new ways of working or with the new terminology to use. The next part is the data migration complexity. Again, migrating with the large volumes of legacy data accurately can be a very daunting task or challenging task. Companies, most of the companies need to decide which data to keep or archive or clean during the transition. If they are going for the fresh implementation, then again, they have this part a bit less complex, but again, data management part is a very daunting task in this S4 transformation.
Sorry, when
Yep.
you are referring to data migration, you are referring to data migration from ECC to 4HANA?
Yes,
Is
yes.
that-
If you
is
are
that-
going with the brown field or blue field, then yes, you have to clean your data and you have to migrate the specific data which you need. If you're gonna completely move the overall data, then it will gonna increase your data management cost as well. Again, as well as complexity. But if
Right,
you're going
okay.
with the clean core implementation, you will be moving very less amount of master data.
No, yeah, that's fair enough. That I understand. I would have assumed that since it is from SAP, a SAP product to another SAP product, there might have been already connectors or some sort of interfaces
Yes,
to
they do have the
facilitate.
connectors. Yes, they
Okay.
do have the connectors as well as the integration possibilities.
Mhm. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. And decision making on transition models, whether it's a green field or a brown field, it's a difficult part because in a green field, a complete re-implementation with the redesigned processes is required. But in a brown field, a technical upgrade with the existing configurations can be done. But when it comes to a blue field, it can be a combination of for few processes as a green field and few processes as a brown field. In the organizational readiness, I talked about the change management. Now, training and change management is one of the most critical part in the S4 journey. And this is the place, change management, where most of the organization who are doing the S4 transformation, they are struggling because it requires a lot of dedication, training, and the dedicated change management team who can overlook all the changes or all the trainings to the end users, business users. So employees need to understand new processes or else a productivity, which may could drop post implementation sometimes for a shorter period of time. So effective change management is very, very critical.
So Rahul, one question from my side, like if I say I want to go with the brown field, do I need data in this case as well?
Come again. Can you repeat your statement? You were skipped for.
Yeah, my question was like, if I decide to go for S4HANA brown field, do I need to opt? Do I need data migration still or no?
Yes, yes. If you are going with the brown field, you have to move your data. You have to migrate your data because in the brown field, you will be changing. You are moving all of your processes from ECC to HANA. You are just going to transform your process either or re-engineering your process, but you are moving all your data from ECC to HANA. You are not going to do the clean core implementation. Okay, so data migration, yes, you have to do that. But during the migration phase, you can clean your data.
Okay, because as far as I understand, like we have to run the software update manager, some tool, and then it converts everything into S4HANA. So in brown field.
Yes. But again, if you are not going to move your data and you are going to do the brownfield implementation, it would be a very bigger problem when you are going to implement your re-engineered processes.
Okay.
Okay. So there is a certain difference between the ACC and HANA, which is shown on the screen. If you can, because we have a graphical user interface in the ECC, but in S4, we have the graphical user interface as well as the Fiori applications. So in the ECC, the database is agnostic, but
sorry, can I jump in and just ask?
Yeah.
What is Fiori applications? GUI, I understand. But yeah, and apologies for this because I'm not at all inverse with SAP. So
okay, basically Fiori applications are pre-designed applications by the system or by the SAP itself, and they are available on a subscription from the SAP. They have created an application for every business object, and they are readily available in the S4HANA. If you wanted to use them, you can a bit of customize based upon your requirements, else you can use them right away without any customization.
Okay.
And they are available on the system and the mobile as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, so the good part, you'll be having the mobile interfaces in the Fiori apps. I hope this clears your question. Okay, so these are few major differences. We'll be discussing them in the detail in the later topics.
Are these for emphasis? Are these all the differences, or?
No, these are just very high level differences, but there is a lot of differences. We cannot showcase all those on a one single slide. So there is two, three deployment options. One is the green field, one is other one is the brown field, and third one is the blue field. But S4HANA offers flexibility of consumption, either as a service or a product, however you want it to use. It's available on the cloud, public cloud, private cloud, as well as on-premise. So it provides a degree of flexibility as well as standardization. So, in the ECC itself, we can create any kind of Z transaction or Y transactions. Okay. But in case of S4, the target is to reduce Z transactions and all the Y transactions which we use to create for our custom requirements. If you are going to choose the public cloud, you won't be having that leverage to create these kind of Z transactions. But if you're going to choose a private cloud or the on-prem, you will be having option to choose a bit of flexibility, because S4HANA is all about its standardization. You will be using these standard processes. They have adopted the APQC process framework. APQC process framework is basically the framework defined by the American Product and Quality Control Organization. That framework covers all the areas of an organization, whether it's a supply chain, R&D, or capability management, human resource. Every area of the organization they have covered. They have defined the best practices for every area. And in the S4 best practices, SAP tried to incorporate APQC as much as possible. From my point of view, they have covered almost 98% of part. 2% of is the part which cannot be covered within the SAP S4HANA. I will browse the SAP best practices during this workshop, and then I will help you to dig down into the every capability of the organization and what could be the possible process we can use in our S4 journey. Okay, so we have a public cloud, private cloud as an on-premise system. We can increase the standardization in the S4 as well as it has a flexibility to choose. So three kinds of deployment options: cloud, on, or hybrid. If anyone who is not aware of this terminology, so these are the three kind of deployment options. If anyone don't know the terminology of cloud, on-prem, and hybrid, can just ask. I will hold here for a moment and then we'll move further. I hope everyone is aware about the cloud deployment options. If not, then I can describe in detail.
Can you briefly explain?
Yeah. So on cloud, basically, you will be having the S/4HANA software as a service where you don't have to host or own the system, but SAP will be owning the system and you will be having the subscription-based model where you can use the web-based applications for your enterprise. But in the on-prem system, you will be owning the system, you will be maintaining all the servers and all those things, and then you will get the ownership. But in the hybrid model is the combination of cloud and on-prem, where you will be having a certain part in your organization which you will be managing, because sometimes few of the business processes we cannot host on a public cloud or private cloud. We may need on-prem servers, like if we are using the SAP in the federal government projects or the space projects, we cannot have everything on cloud. So that's why we sometimes need on-prem system where we don't have to share the data with the other companies or with the SAP, where we want the 100% ownership on the data as well as the management.
Quick question.
Yeah, please.
Does the cloud, does it support both UEFI and Fiori or just only Fiori?
Yeah, it supports both.
Okay, thanks.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
So there are 3 deployment factors: greenfield, brownfield, and hybrid, which I was telling you from the start. So greenfield is a complete re-implementation from ground zero. You will be having a clean code, you will be having a full options to reshape your processes or business processes. It will allow you the full adoption of S/4HANA innovations or the available applications or the Fiori apps. Or this is a very time-consuming activity. You know, when you have to start with the clean code implementation, you have to set up the system and you have to do everything from ground zero or from the start. So as well as the change management part is very critical in greenfield. But in brownfield, less time consuming. Here you can re-engineer process, but you're only moving your database from ECC to S/4HANA. Okay. People used to call it as application conversion or the system conversion as well. The other names are brownfield. Yeah, sometimes you may not heard about the brownfield. And consulting companies or the SAP companies used to call it as a system conversion, which is a more common name. So you will be assessing your as-is processes, you will be identifying the opportunities of improvement, and then you will be doing the re-engineering and then implementing the re-engineered processes in the S/4HANA. Also, if you don't want to re-engineer, you can move the as-is processes from ECC to S/4HANA. There are 2 ways of doing it. Either you can choose a solution manager or you can use a cloud ALM. Okay, but for the data, there are a number of conversion tools available which can help you to minimize the technical issues. Hybrid approach is nothing but the combination of greenfield and brownfield. In some of the cases, you have 100 processes within the organization. out of 100, you assesses or you do the readiness check before defining the strategy. Then you realized out of 100, you need the greenfield implementation on 40%, and 60 can be that go with the brownfield implementation or the system conversion part. So that strategy we used to call it as a hybrid approach.
So that is at the business process, not at the module level.
Again?
So the selection of whether going with the lift and shift or conversion, like changing entirely, that can be done within a module. We can pick some business processes lift and shift, and some of them
yes, correct.
Yeah, standard is.
Yeah, okay. We used to call it as a hybrid.
Okay. Not at the module itself.
Yeah.
Module level, like SD. Within SD also, I can have some component, some business processes older way and some new standard ones. Okay, correct. Yeah.
So that's why the other name we are commonly used as the Bluefield approach or Bluefield implementation of the SAP. So
in that case.
Yeah, here I have a question. So you said there are some SAP conversion tools. So can you say one or two examples?
Solution Manager is the one.
Okay.
But there are a lot of SAP conversion tools, and every big, you can say consulting company uses their own tools. If you go with the big four, every company has their own conversion tools. They name them, or even in my recent project, I worked with the IBM. When we did the readiness check, after that, IBM came up with their own tools. They did the readiness check, and their report was very different from what we have generated from our system. Okay. Standard tools are very less, but almost every major consulting company has their own tools. Whether
even
it's
the customers, even the customers,
sometimes customers as well.
Programs,
Yes.
We didn't had done the same.
Yeah, sometimes customers. If you go with the big companies like Nokia, Ericsson, they have their own tools.
So so can I just interrupt? Sorry. So when you are referring to these tools, are we essentially talking of ETL tools, extract, transform, load?
No, not exactly ETL. We are talking about the maintenance planner, readiness check, or sometimes there are a lot of tools, roadmap viewer as well. Okay. ABAP test cockpit can also help in the SAP conversion.
So I think the question is, what do these tools do in a layman's language?
Absolutely right. Correct. Thank you, Loknath. Yep. What are these tools that we're referring to? Yes.
Conversion tools.
Okay, so it basically helps to change the data requirement, because the data structure of the ECC and S/4HANA is different. So if really moving the data for the financial processes, then it will help us to clean the data, as well as what data should be moved from these particular tables to these different views.
So basically, they'll identify the Z objects, Z objects readiness.
Yeah,
so
readiness.
Whether you need to change your code, whether you have to change your data elements, or functional groups, function modules, and all those things. Say, suppose you are referring to a table, your code is referring to a table, but that table is either modified, some of the columns are not available, or
some
the
of
table
the
itself is obsolete.
Yes.
So in that case, your code doesn't work in S/4HANA.
Exactly. Just like few tables, like we have EKKO, EKPO, VBAP, VBAK, these tables. These are the very common tables and can be directly moved to the S4, but some of the columns are still not available in the S4, just to improve the standardization. But there are certain other tables which are obsoleted in the S4 and you won't be able to find them. And even if you will be moving the data, you won't be able to move that information because those tables won't be existing. And these tools will help you to identify if you have to move this data, which other fields you can use in the S4 tables. Or either you can go with the CDS views.
So
you have the multiple options.
Here is, let's assume that there is a 100% standard SAP ECC, no customization done, and that they're moving to S4. Isn't SAP is capable of handling that at a click of a button?
Still, they have the conversion tools, and you have to define your strategy, how you want it to move. If you have 100% ECC implementation, again, that is not supported in the S4 completely, because again, you will be having all these standard tables, which again, not available, or some of the fields won't be available in the S4. That's why you have to go with the conversion.
Okay, but isn't SAP aware what is there in ECC and what is not?
Yes, they are well aware, or it is already available on the web. If you go with the S4HANA help documentation, you will gonna just search out how many number of tables are obsolete.